I'm talking to Elmer Traver at his home southwest of Sharon on October the 7th, 1981. Why don't we just start out by, you were not born here.
No, I was born in Nebraska.
And when did you come here?
1909.
1909. Okay, well that was after statehood then, wasn't it? I was thinking you came a lot earlier. Your folks came with somebody else, another family, is that right? Or was it just the Travers?
Just
Well, and you settled right here?
we came down and bought the place, then went back, moved down.
And
Moved
you,
down team wagon.
just one wagon?
Oh, I had 2 wagons, a spring wagon, and probably 10 horse farm.
Really? How'd you take care of all those at night? Did you?
Oh, you could camp anywhere them days.
Well, I know, but how did you keep your horses?
Oh, we hobbled 2 or 3, you know.
Oh, okay.
But after we got on the road 2 or 3 days, those loose horses wouldn't need those wagons.
Oh, really?
No,
Mm-hmm.
they just stayed right with us.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think about that. I was just, yeah. Well, did you bring any cows?
No.
Mm-hmm. How long did it take?
I think we was 29 days.
From Nebraska?
We did the northwest part of Nebraska,
Oh, my.
from the lines. From
Really?
the southwest of the lines, southeast of the lines.
Reliance. Uh-huh. Yeah.
I was born in the lines.
Well, now there was you and May.
We had a neighbor girl, she came through to drive all of us teams.
I see. Did she live here then later, or did she?
When she got here, she had word to go back.
Oh.
Well, something about her, she had a claim up there. She had to go back to settle up on that claim.
Okay.
She had, so she left the next day.
I see. Went back on the train, I guess. Well, now, you just came down here and bought this.
Yeah.
Because who had proved up on it? Who had it before you got it?
We got it from Guthrie.
And what Guthrie was that? Is it some relation of the Guthries that live here now?
No, that ain't no relatives here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You got his name.
Yeah.
His,
What, how many acres in here?
Huh?
How many acres?
there's half section.
Half section. Mm-hmm. And what did you raise when you first got here? I suppose it was already broken out and in crops when you came.
Yeah. But there's patches broke out.
Mhm.
All of it broke out.
Yeah. What'd you raise mostly?
Oh, corn and cattle corn, I guess. They had a good hay meadow out there, wild hay meadow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they used to raise a lot of corn,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody much raises corn anymore. Wonder why?
I guess, I don't know really why.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess wasn't too sure on how to drought.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, yeah, it probably never was a very sure crop. But you didn't raise any wheat then when you first came.
No, we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Not for several years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, now, we were talking the other day about you had registered shorthorn cattle.
Well, it wasn't all registered. Said she.
Well, but now most people didn't have registered stock, did they? Or did? How was that? Did very many people have registered stock?
Not right around here.
That's what I thought.
We didn't sell any of the registers and things
We
like
didn't?
that.
You just had them then because you thought it was
Oh, just how good as herd. Build it up, herd.
Kind of a matter of pride, I guess. Yeah.
Some of the crossbreeds, though, I'd brag on them, especially to the racers sometimes.
Yes, that's still true. The crossbreeds have gotten to be pretty popular right now, haven't they? Yeah. There was a time in there when they thought you had to have registered Herefords and all that. But Russell has always thought that the crossbred, a lot of times did better. Mm-hmm. Well, you hadn't lived here too long then when World War I started, had you?
Huh?
You hadn't been here too long when World War I began.
No.
About 10.
About 10 years probably.
Mm-hmm. Well, where'd you go to camp?
I went to Fort Riley, Kansas first.
Okay. Well, you were telling me the other day about this incident about was it your uncle?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to tell Russell about that, and I couldn't remember it that well. How all that happened.
Well, he was visiting folks in Iowa, and they said, well, my nephew's eligible and we were the only Travers, and there would be the only Travers in the war.
Mm-hmm.
So he wrote to me. He was training a Mason ambulance company. And he wrote to me to volunteer. I'd have to join the Mason Lodge, be a Mason. He wrote to me, volunteer and come to him. Just company and said, you get me in, Then we'd go together during the war. Mm-hmm. But I was ready. I knew the draft. I was ready for the draft. The number was ready to come up, so I finally just wrote to him and I'd just wait for the draft. And so I spent 3 months in Fort Riley, Kansas. And that was he went out there, you're supposed to have stripes on your shoulder, arms, but I refused them.
Oh, really? Why?
I just
didn't want to do them. Mm-hmm.
Do it. So they set me up for Camp Custer, Mississippi.
Uh-huh.
And then when they were ready to ship his company across, they had them all loaded on the transport. And sent a tug out there and got my uncle off and shipped him up there to Camp Custer, Mississippi, where I was.
Oh, declare. Oh, declare.
So then I got transferred over to headquarters.
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess it helped to have a relative in charge, huh? What did you do?
I couldn't run a typewriter. I'd have been sergeant right there, but so he said, well, it'll take quite a while. So I said, well, I'll have a Dodge Stern car. If you want to drive that, why? I said, that's just what I want. What to do? But I never was issued it.
Oh.
Sat there 5 months waiting for that car. Of course, I'd drive the ambulances. Go to Ordley or drive the ambulance or something like that. Just have something to do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What was the delay? Why didn't?
I don't know.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
I finally got to go down and drive it down to the Detroit factory.
Oh, really? Yeah. I
was up for discharge then, but boy, they loading them up to take them down there. One boy didn't show up. I don't know why, but well, there's Elmer. Take him. So in wintertime, I said, wait till I get my overcoat. So I got my overcoat and we went down there on Saturday. The officer said, well, I'll see you Monday morning. So I got to drive it out of the factory.
I'll say. Was this a special car? I mean, it was different, I guess, than just the
No,
ordinary.
just a Dodge touring car.
Is that right?
We drove 9 of them out of the factory.
Really?
At one time. And they brought all 9 of them. Drove from Detroit to Camp Custer.
Where's Camp Custer? You know what?
That's Battle Creek.
Oh, okay. Wasn't too terribly far then.
Huh?
How far is that from Detroit?
I really don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I thought maybe they did something special to those cars that the
No,
officers
it's just Thomas touring car.
Just like the cars we used to have with the side curtains and all that.
Yeah.
Then you never went overseas.
No, the flu hit first. Then they had to rebuild the camp. There's so many boys died that they had to rebuild every branch. All
really?
Division.
Huh.
So then, well, of course, you tell me, you say, we're ready to leave. See, expect to leave any day. And then armistice was signed. And so, we didn't get to go across.
Yeah. Were you disappointed?
I was, yeah.
Yeah. Because you weren't married. No, you weren't.
No.
You weren't married then. Yeah. Well,
I wanted that trip more.
Right. Yeah. My brother was. He was just up. You know, he would have gone with the next group out of Woodward when armistice was signed. Joe. And he was disappointed. He really was looking forward to that. When the flu struck there, when it came to your camp, about how many of those boys would be sick at one time? Do you remember?
I don't know. The hospital was up about probably 3 miles. When I got sick, I just walked across the street and went to bed.
Well.
Had it full, clear down. Had them all full of boys.
Well, and of course, civilians were sick too, so getting people to take care of them was kind of a problem, wasn't it?
Well, the boys took care of one another, you know.
Well.
When wasn't sick, but they take care of the sick.
Yeah.
And I got pretty bad one day, and this captain had charge of our ward. He told my uncle that he's going to have to move me. So my uncle said, well, for my sake, that's my uncle, you know, for his sake, says, one time forget your orders.
Well.
And says we can move him any time. The orders were not to let him die in these wards.
Oh,
Take him to the base hospital.
I see.
So we can move. We had our own ambulances and everything, you know. And so Captain Martin, he left me later. Next morning, Mark came up there and kidding me. When he left, I broke into a sweat. I told the boys to cover me up.
Yeah.
So they piled overcoats and everything on me. I said, I'll sweat this out of me.
Yeah, yeah.
I seen one boy come back from the base hospital, and I didn't know him. You see, now I'm coming.
Is that right? You mean he was thin or?
No, he was just poor.
Wow.
Most of them all went to base hospital and died.
Well, how long were you sick? How long did it last?
Well, I wasn't sick over 3 or 4 days. I don't
Really?
think. Just sit there all at once, you know. I don't think, I probably wouldn't have got sick, but I was ordinary went taking a colored boy to the hospital, and he was pretty bad. Well, I took some of them. Or it went along the order. One of them I put my overcoat over and
Well,
keep you warm. It's
yeah.
cold. Like dead of winter, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, they didn't have penicillin, and they didn't have sulfa, and what did they treat them with?
Aspirin.
Aspirin, sure.
That's the only thing they did was aspirin.
Well, was there a shortage of doctors, or was there enough doctors, or?
Well, I was in the medical department. And see, all of our officers were doctors.
Oh, okay.
Every one of them.
Now, did you come home? Were you mustered out right after the armistice was signed, or were you in there a while?
No, I was in there. Well, a couple, put her 2 months, I think. Work that out.
Yeah. In those days, of course, all the travel was done by train. There weren't any buses or anything then. What do you remember about this railroad going through? Now, you were living right here in the railroad.
We had two camps here on the front and one on the inside of the creek, Bill and Grade.
Oh, you did? And they did all that with horses.
Every bit of it. One on the north side of the creek, it was pretty big outfit. They had big equipment, dump wagons, things like that. This down here, a lot of it's just little old, tiny
Slips.
graders, Fresnos.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now, the men that worked on the railroad just lived at those camps.
Huh?
The men that worked on the railroad just lived at the camps, is that right?
Yeah.
And they had cook shack and...
Fed them, had their mules down there.
How long were those camps here?
Well, it was here quite a while. In the wintertime,
Well, I wondered about that. Now, that was a bad winter, the winter of 11 and 12.
yeah. And well, a lot of the kids went to school over here in camp. And they had families, she working for them, you know, different jobs. They had their children. They went to school here all the winter.
Now, was that at Sharon?
It was over here. Well, the schoolhouse over there in Carter.
Oh, okay. What was it?
You remember that schoolhouse?
I don't. No. What was it called?
South Persimmon.
Oh, of course.
Huh?
It's called South Persimmon, wasn't it?
That's South Persimmon School.
Yeah, as far as I know.
Sure.
It was just about a quarter of a mile east of Charlie Hitler's house there. Just on,
No, I don't remember.
you don't see, we consolidated from there with Sharon.
With Sharon.
Well,
And
like
that
Carter's house is the old schoolhouse.
yeah, Charlie
We
Hitler's
moved
house
it over there.
is that old schoolhouse. And you
see.
see, it was up, the school was up on the corner. That's where, it was down here in the Tamper.
Okay.
When Helen and Willie Healy went to school, and my brother. And then they moved it up on the corner, and it was Blanche. What was her name? Those people that our first teacher up there. You remember? I didn't go to school up there, but
How come you didn't? I guess you went up there.
I went to the petition school in the summertime.
Huh?
I wasn't old enough.
Yes, you were.
Well, I went to Lula and Ethel, but Blanche McCants.
Oh, okay.
She was the first one that taught up there. I didn't go to school with her. Bud did, but I didn't. I went to Ethel Pittman and Lula Pittman. They,
Loudermilk.
well, he didn't teach up, did he?
did.
Yeah, that's when you came. Loudermilk was teacher when you came. Yeah. Well, see,
You went to him.
I never went to school down there, but I went up here. I didn't go to McCann's. I didn't go to her, but I went to Ethel and Lula Pittman.
And then they moved to the schoolhouse down here, south.
Down there in front of Charlie Taylor's.
Well.
They built a schoolhouse there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
It was a 2-room, what they called,
That was just one room.
just one room, but they had 2 attic rooms.
Oh, one for the girls and one for the boys?
Well, I don't know.
One of them was for boys, one for the girls.
I guess so.
I suppose.
And John and Willis and
Some of the Adamses.
yeah. What was her name over east of Sharon that taught school?
Stevens?
Huh?
Stevens?
Yeah, Stevens. What was her name?
Addie, wasn't it?
Addie Stevens.
I've heard of her.
And Willis James and John James and not Minor Stevens, but the other one lived out there. Not Minor Stevens, but the other one, brother to him, lived out there. He walked.
Well.
And old Loudermilk, he lived down here where Willis Young lived, up on the hill, even farther than that.
Well.
And he walked.
Well.
And us kids would try. Us 4 kids, we got over there. And he had a path right by our place, you know. And we'd try to take his steps, you know. He was a long-legged guy, tall, and we'd try to walk in his steps. He had a path across there.
Well, now did you go to high school at Sharon?
I never did go to high school.
Oh, you didn't go to high school. Well.
He went to Visay.
I had a farm.
Okay.
He went to Visay in the 8th grade.
I see. Well,
See, we didn't have any high school then.
That's right. That's right. And you had to take the.
I liked the farm.
Well.
He took the 8th grade examination, never got his papers back.
Really?
Now something was wrong, I don't know what. So he never did do anything else.
Education didn't amount to much then for me. Or like you get along without it then.
Yeah.
Now you can't do it.
Well, that's true. But you're probably like, my dad just went to the 6th grade, but I think he was as well educated,
Did you go to Alva?
But people learned to read better then. They learned to figure better. And if they kept up, and if they kept up and kept reading, they were as well educated.
They're as well educated as
kids are now.
Better.
Yeah.
Kids can't read today. They can't figure.
That's right.
They don't know what geography is.
That's true.
Elvin Fenton over here, I asked him the other day if he's taking geography. What's geography?
Well, it's social studies, they call it now.
What?
Social studies.
That's something.
And it involves the geography and I don't know what all, but that's what they call it now. Right. Well, did these people now that worked on the railroad, were they all attached to the camp, or did some of the local farmers?
Most of them most of them came from Texas. They kind of they just followed that business.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think that railroad was finally finished in 1912.
I think so.
Well, it's too bad that it's not there anymore.
Looks like they need it.
Well, you could see the railroad from here. I mean,
Oh yeah, it's right there. Just
right.
150 foot from the barn, probably.
Yeah. Did you miss it?
Yeah. I couldn't cross the track for a year on labor train.
Yeah, it's.
You couldn't get out of here without crossing the track, north or south.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Look around.
Yeah. Now you had a water tower down here.
Yeah, they got water tower. Got water here.
Now, was that the water came out of the creek, or did they have a well?
Well, they had a well, but didn't furnish enough, so they moved it back down to the creek.
Well, now the trains. How often did they stop there, or did they?
Well, if they had enough to get on through, they didn't stop most of the time. Of course, they had to go to Woodward. Well, they didn't. They had to buy the water because they get the water out here. Well,
it was free.
Pay the pumpers for pumping it.
Yeah.
I pumped a little during harvest.
Yeah.
I pumped nights out here several times.
Is that right?
The tank full.
Well, then, when was it that they took those? Now, after they got diesels, they didn't need the water.
No, they didn't need the water then.
Wonder, do you remember about when it was that they put those diesels on?
No, I don't remember.
I don't really either. But well, now you.
I miss those steam whistles.
Oh yeah, I bet. You mentioned.
But I had cows. You could lay right up against the grade when the steam engine go along and never get up. But when they put diesels on, they'd hear them mile, half 2 miles away coming. They'd get up, start away from it.
Is that right?
Much noise, they'd move away from that track bar they could get.
I'll declare. Well. You mentioned about catching the train, going out here and you could flag the train down. Could anybody do that? Anybody along this?
Oh no, I got acquainted with the engineers.
All right. Okay, that's what I wondered.
Oh, sorry,
West of Sharon. Oh, I know. Dan Cullen.
Cullen, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He was a conductor on the freight train. I guess he was on Wagner a little while, probably.
Oh, where did you catch that train? Right out here by the house?
Yeah. And they're taking water out here.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
But you never knew when they were going to stop for water and when they weren't.
No. When he's on the train, we'd ask him, they'd stop to let us off.
Yeah.
Of course, they'd take water when they stopped. But it didn't stop.
Well, now, there was just you and May in your family.
That's right.
And who's older, you or May?
I was.
Okay. And she went on and went to, now did she go to high school at Woodward?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Alva.
And Alva. And then she taught school.
No.
She teach here at Sharon? I know she taught here in later years, but did she teach earlier? When she first started teaching?
She graduated in 17. First year she taught was at Hunter, Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were at Hunter.
Hunter, Oklahoma.
That's northeast Alva.
Now she graduated in 17.
Northeast of Indy.
Yeah, right. Graduated from Woodward. And then went to Alva.
Then went to Alva.
And what did she teach? Grade school or high school? Or?
As far as I know, she never taught high school because she went to Leedy.
Right.
And I think she taught the grades. I'm pretty sure that's right. At Hunter. She taught there 2 years.
Well.
And then she came back and went to Leedy. Taught down
Then
there.
when did she take up the county work?
Well, after she taught at Leedy.
Oh, that's right. She was a home
She was
demonstration.
an extension agent in Dewey County for 2 or 3 years. And then she's over here at Old King. and no, not Old Keene, Fairview, over in there.
Well,
She was the extension agent. She's working for the government over there. It was during the war, I think, and they were having these canning schools and things like that. And she did that for a year. And her headquarters was at Fairview.
Okay.
Well, they run a cream station too with it, I think.
Okay.
And she was to Old Keene in Hall. And Lady, about 2 or 3 years, she taught down there. But she taught 102 years. That was her first teaching.
Yeah. Now, she was married to Herb Wren, and they, what were their boys' names?
Donald and Frank.
Yes. And one of those boys is gone.
Yeah.
Which one?
Donald.
Donald. And Frank lives where?
He's in San Diego.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He retired out of the Navy.
Oh, he did? He had 20 years in the Navy?
20 years. Yeah, tractor and plow. 3-bar plow, $700.
For the two of them?
Both the tractor and plow for $700.
Oh, my. When was that? Do you remember what year?
No, I don't remember what year.
Well, that's that's a lot different than it is now. So,
the difference in 70,000.
70. Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably about 70,000 for a tractor and plow. Yeah. Did you still go ahead and farm some with horses, or did you just
I kept horses. So this place here, I had bottom land. And couldn't get over with these steel wheels.
Oh yeah.
You can do pretty well on rubber. I didn't know that. Of course, there wasn't no rubber tires then. You know.
No.
He didn't have very
steel
nice
wheels.
names for his horses, somebody asked him.
Oh, okay. Not nice names for your horses, huh? Well, how long? There was quite a period in there when those tires were steel before they went to rubber tires, wasn't there?
Oh yeah, quite a while.
Yeah, I can remember hearing Russell talk about that and how those were so heavy and bad to get stuck and all this sort of thing.
You stuck quicker with steel wheels, you will rubber.
Yes, that's right.
Of course, when you get stuck with rubber,
You just keep going down, don't you?
You're stuck then.
Did you keep some of your horses just out of sentimental
Well,
reasons?
I had one team, but I'd put a tongue on the tractor on this bottom land, you know, and hang the lines up, and they'd pull me through that maybe one spot in the field.
Really?
They'd pull out through that.
Huh.
But you'd give a walker to that.
Yeah.
Come around toward the gate, you'd have to get the line, or they'd turn
They
off,
what?
come to the house.
Well, did you farm after you got your tractor? Of course, farming was pretty different, wasn't it, than it was before?
Oh, yeah. Now, Herbie, he bought one of those tractors. Well, he got the disc plow, and I had the moldboard plow, so we could trade back and forth.
Yeah. Well, people did more trading of work, didn't they, then than you do now? Did you ever have a thrashing machine?
No.
Well, what about a combine?
Huh?
You had a combine, I suppose. Or did you always hire your...
Well, finally, I from 21 I got a combine.
Is that right? Mm-hmm. How wide a cut?
It had 11 foot
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
case combine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now that was the year they patented it. I had to rebuild it, and then the next spring when they came out and rebuilt it.
Was Bill Adams, was he a case man at that time?
He was a case man that time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I bought it from Woodard so that you'd be able to build son first.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, there was a lot of those things that way, that the farm machinery, they bring it out and the farmers still had to...
Farmer had to show them how to build it.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
What was wrong with it and everything.
Mm-hmm. What about soil conservation? Do you think that the old type farming was better as far as conserving soil, or do you think that the newer ways of doing it are better?
Well, I grew lots of clover.
Mm-hmm.
I could use for pasture.
But
rotate the crops.
yeah. But does anybody grow clover much anymore?
You hardly ever see any.
Well, why, I wonder?
I wouldn't know.
Uh-huh. Russell used to raise clover, and like you say, rotate, and you're...
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could, when I grow the clover, I'd plan 3 years ahead all the time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know where I was going to plant 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Were you a record keeper? Did you keep very good records of your farming operation?
No, I didn't keep no record.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The young farmers do, I guess, because they have to for income tax purposes.
Uh-huh.
But no, we never did either. But like I say, the young ones have to. We're talking about, there's a half section here, and would you be able to guess at all as to how much money you had invested in farm machinery when you came here?
When we came here, didn't have very much. I walked behind a walking valve trying to get many acres.
Right. Well, and what else did you have besides a plow? You'd had to have a harrow, did you?
Yeah, and then we had a binder to bind the feed.
Yeah, and a drill, of course. Okay. Now, if a young man was gonna start out now and farm this same half section, do you have any idea what he'd have to invest in machinery?
Start with, he couldn't make a living on a half section anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because after the war, I bought the north place up there for Patterson.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's true. You couldn't make a living on a half section.
Half section.
What did you pay for this land, if you don't mind my asking? When your dad came here, do you know what he paid for it?
$7,200 for this farm here.
Was there a house on it?
Oh, yeah, same house.
This house was here.
This house was built when I was born.
Is that right?
We were neighbors right up here from the people who built it. They lived down here across the bridge,
Yeah.
on one side of the road in a dugout.
Huh.
Till they built this house and moved into it.
And who built it?
Wirtz.
W-U-R-T-Z?
I don't know.
Yeah.
W-E-R-T-Z.
Okay.
Wirtz.
Okay. And $7,200, you say? Mm-hmm.
That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
600 acres? Is that right? No, it wasn't 600 acres.
320.
320. 320. And
This here well worth a whole lot.
That well was dug
well.
when I was just a little bitty girl, about like that.
is that right?
And
Been flowing
when
for
they dug it, the water would come up about like that.
My goodness, that's about
But you've been flowing for 80 years or more.
Now that's an artesian?
Mm-hmm.
And it flows all the time?
All the time.
What happens to that water that you don't use?
Goes down the creek.
I just keep it on the grass.
That's where we irrigate.
I see.
I did a little bit of all summer long, then run out there on the grass.
I'll declare. Yeah.
I just keep changing that hose around.
Yeah. Is it good water?
Oh, yeah.
100%.
99 and 4400% pure.
Pure.
Well, you always had a big garden. Now, did that, it was just sub-irrigated where you had your garden?
We never irrigated.
Yeah.
Oh, we did one time down across the creek. We had a little irrigation system.
Mm-hmm.
It lasted 1 year. It was too hard to work.
Yeah.
We didn't need it anyhow. We raised a good garden without it.
Well, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the garden is the main thing.
I could
When
irrigate.
they're taking census one time, we thought I asked us what that garden was worth. I said, oh, $500. Oh, he just blew his top. Wasn't no garden worth no $500.
We lived off of it.
Well,
I said,
sure.
well, now, if you don't want to put down $500, just put down whatever you want. I said, I don't care. I said, it's still worth $500.
Oh,
I don't know what he put down.
That's something.
yes,
He
it
just had a
is.
spell.
Huh.
We lived off of our garden.
Sure.
Year round, you know.
That's right.
We
Mm-hmm.
bought flour and baked our bread.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, year round.
Raised
off
everything
that
else.
garden.
Chickens,
Uh-huh.
hogs, everything.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And of course, people don't do that.
They don't do that.
Do you know of anybody around here that has chickens?
No.
No,
George up here's got 2.
2 chickens?
I think
They're
Laura's
foreigners.
got 7 or 8 hens.
Huh?
I think Cahoe's got.
Oh yeah, Laura's got 7 or 8 hens.
Mm-hmm.
She sells eggs
Does
part of the
she?
year.
Does she?
50 eggs a day.
Yeah. How many cows was the most you ever milked at one time?
Oh, I don't know, 12, 15, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't have a milking machine.
No, I got 2 or 3 of them.
I had about 6.
And that was another way that people got money, you know, that was their cream check.
That's the money we had. And Laura, Grace, one time, Elmer had, over there where Merle Adams lives,
Mm-hmm.
Elmer had that rented from who?
That's Montgomery.
Miss McGlamry.
Yes.
Mr. Miss McGlamry.
Murdoch.
And we took our milk cows over there. We had pasture over there. And we milked over there.
Wheat pasture. They're going wheat pasture over there.
Haul our milk home, separated us.
I know it.
Go over there and nothing to keep us from the north wind but a barbed wire fence.
I know it.
In the wintertime. One morning it was 8 degrees.
You still had to milk the cows.
We had to milk the cows.
Mhm.
Lucille had to go to school. I never will forget that.
Oh, yes, that was the cream and egg check was the way people bought what they didn't raise.
Mhm.
They bought it that way.
Well, I bought clothes, everything.
Right.
One week we did. I didn't have money enough to buy a sack of oil meal, so I asked Luther Adams. I said, Luther, will you sell me that for a week sometime? Well, I sure will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Next week, we had enough in cream check to buy that sack of meal.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, it was an altogether different world than it is now. And it wasn't that bad a life. You know, I've thought about this a lot of times. People talk about how hard people had to work, but it didn't seem like it at the time.
Didn't hurt anybody. Well, I think people were more level-headed and just really happier than they are now.
Mm-hmm.
When there's everything in the world, they've got everything in the world, and they go any place they want to go, have anything they want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're happy.
A lot
many
of
of
them. No, a lot of them aren't. A lot of them
They don't realize.
I seen Milt Marston yesterday up in Woodard. Well, you hard-working man, what do you do now? I said, well, that work, bad deal. I said, there ain't no future to it. I said, I quit.
aren't.
I said, I'll push that lawnmower around.
Yeah, well. How long have you been going? How many years have you been going down to Texas for the winter?
Oh, about
This would be 12.
11, maybe 12.
I think
12
this
years.
is 12.
Yeah. You do a lot of fishing?
Oh, yeah, that's all it is to do down there.
That's all they do.
Wow.
Nothing.
Well, some people do down there in those places do a lot of card playing and that sort of
They
thing.
do at night. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
they play. A lot
Uh-huh.
of people. They have a lot of card parties.
Uh-huh.
And large, they have senior citizens down there, but we never went last year. I think this year.
I spend about 11 hours in bed.
Yeah, well, that,
Last night I spent 12 hours in bed.
did you really? You go to bed early.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just well to go to sleep if you don't, so I just want to go to bed and sleep.
Probably after the same time I would be in bed before sundown.
Oh, I know. I know.
Not years ago though.
Yeah, right. Now,
Hardest time I got 4 or 5 hours sleep while I thought I was pretty lucky.
that's right. That's right. Didn't they have a daylight savings time during World War One? Did they? They didn't.
I never heard of it. Did you?
Mhm.
Did you?
No, they wanted to save flour and sugar.
Well,
Yes.
That's the only thing I know.
Same
Yes.
time.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I started
flowers.
battle script one Sunday. We had, how do you put that? Not to drive cars.
Oh, really? Hmm.
And the folks was up there visiting me that time.
Mhm.
And I seen one car go down the street
Hmm.
In
all
Chicago.
day Sunday long
That's
in
in
the
Chicago.
city of Battle Creek, Michigan.
Uh-huh.
And he might have been the doctor. Boy,
Yeah.
the doctor could use
Yeah.
especially his name.
Oh,
I see.
they-
That was to save gas then. That's what
I
that
didn't
was.
realize that they had that problem.
They don't think about that now.
No. Mm-mm.
We wasn't supposed to run our ambulances. We used mules.
Yeah.
And we had horses. We had mules and ambulances and motorized.
Mhm.
And in the mornings, while we'd usually send the mules out on the run, they'd come in about 10 o'clock and get over the run. And boys say, well, they'd come to the window and ask me, say, well, what was about it? Oh, I said, sit down there and unhit them.
Yeah.
And I said, stay out of sight.
Now, you said you were in the medical unit.
Yeah.
Well, what else did you drove an ambulance?
Just some boy wanted me to
Answer
take his
telephone.
place.
Oh, an answered telephone.
Well, I hauled kept commander one day.
Well,
in the
mhm,
ambulance.
mhm.
The driver, he couldn't be on or something about it, so he put me on.
Okay, but you didn't do anything. You didn't have to work in the hospital wards or anything like
Oh, no.
that. Okay. Was that because you were related to the
No,
command?
we was
They,
field
see, they
field
were
ambulance.
Okay.
they were in a camp.
Mhm.
They went in and out.
We'd have been right up on the front. We'd been over there.
I see. Okay, that's what you were being trained for. Okay. Yeah.
I'm drifting off again. See, that's the subject.
Well, that's fine. It all, it's real interesting.
No telling what all he'd had done if he hadn't found his uncle.
Yeah, true. Well, that's really quite a coincidence. The name Traver. What's your nationality, Traver?
No, I really don't know.
I think Dan Traver claimed it was Dutch.
Little Irish in it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
They when
I
they
think there's some Scotch in it.
the Travers came to New York and immigrated west
That's where they
of New York.
originated from, is New York.
Okay.
Going drifting west.
Mhm.
Now
Mhm.
we got a trailer down there, Garland,
Guthrie.
farmers, but
Oh,
we
down
can't,
there,
we can't connect any relatives.
Is that right?
They work Travers felt just like us.
Yeah. Well, now your father, did he have brothers?
Oh yeah, he had
Harry was
three
half-brother.
brothers.
Uh-huh. But none of them came here.
They lived in Iowa, Illinois.
Uncle Elmer, Uncle Perry, and what was the other brother, half-brother's name? Uncle Perry's brother. What was his?
Yeah, 4 brothers.
Yeah. What was Uncle Perry's brother's name?
Oh, these folks are quick.
Yeah. Well, it's.
He was handicapped.
I see. Yeah. Well, it's.
We didn't know him so well.
Mm-hmm.
So Uncle Perry and Uncle Elmer, they lived in Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Had farms. Well, Uncle Perry was always a scholar.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not a very common name. It's not a name that you. And your mother was a Scramling.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Now, but there were other Scramlings that came here.
Say, mother and father was born just a few miles apart. Oh, maybe 50.
Oh.
They never met till in western Nebraska.
Oh, really? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, you see, the 3 Scramlings lived up here on the corners, north of
Right,
Sharon,
yeah.
northeast.
Uh-huh.
Dan lived down here, south of
I
my
see.
side,
Okay.
and east.
But they didn't come at the same time, the
Well,
the Travers?
Them 3,
they was already here when the
they
Travers
all made well, Dan made the run in Eden.
I see.
The
Mm-hmm.
rest of them came up here.
Oh, and
Oh, they didn't make the run up here.
came. They didn't make the
They
run.
just came in here
Uncle
and
Dan was
filed.
the only one that made the run
uh-huh.
in the Garfield
Yeah.
territory.
Yeah. And they just filed up here.
They lived over there too,
Uh-huh.
and then they moved over here. Because the other 3 brothers were out here.
Uh-huh.
Pete, Ed, and Bill all filed on those 3 different corners up there.
Uh-huh.
None Weber filed on the other.
I'll say, yeah. And they're still, the Webbers are still there, but none.
Weber's on 3 corners.
Yeah.
Who owns the other one?
Well, Eva, I guess.
Oh, yeah, Eva.
Oh.
Scramling.
Oh.
And Eva. She's the only one left.
Mm-hmm. And she's out in California.
No, she's in
Oh.
Norfolk, Virginia.
Back east, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that funny? She went east. Viva went west.
Uh-huh.
Viva belonged to Pete. Scranton.
We were talking the other day about poll tax. And there's a lot of young people that don't understand poll tax. Now, why don't you explain that?
Well, it calls work on the roads. I plowed this Adam boys, and I were in the first grader from here to the creek line. From the creek to the creek line, we graded this road.
Oh, uh-huh. Now,
Never was graded. We had 8 head of horses and mules on that grader.
mm-hmm. And nobody told you when to go out and do it. You just did it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
They had,
Road.
like county commissioner now, had one man,
All right.
Yeah.
and he'd workers.
I see. Okay.
I was the hardest work he ever done.
Really?
Holding those, driving those 4 horses on a treadmill.
If you didn't work, you had to pay, didn't you?
Yeah, you either work or pay off.
Either work or pay off.
All right. Did you have to either work or pay in order to be able to vote?
I believe you did, didn't you?
Well, I don't
I
know.
don't know for
What was
sure.
that?
Did you have to pay or work your poll tax in order to vote?
I don't believe we did. Here,
We were
did
trying to figure that
I
out the
don't
other
know.
day, and we couldn't remember.
Let's see. There's some way. Let's see.
But you were certainly expected to do it, weren't you? To
Oh, yeah. That's the only way we had to make roads, you see.
uh-huh.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't know either. I need to find out. But now, people, you worked out poll tax for other people, did you? Ever?
No, I don't.
Well,
I guess you could.
yeah.
Hire a man. to work in her place.
Yeah,
She didn't do
because
that.
when Russell worked in the grocery store at Woodward, he said he used to hire somebody out there
Yeah.
to work his poll
probably
tax.
so.
Hmm.
Now, whether or not it had any connection with voting or not, I've forgotten.
I have too, and I just.
I know that if they didn't work it out, they had to pay.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, did they do that then until they got the power machinery, or when did they quit that poll tax thing?
It seemed like it just died, didn't it? I don't know what
Yeah.
I think it just died off.
Uh-huh.
And then they began to hire patrols.
Uh-huh.
Road patrols.
Uh-huh.
I don't know when.
Yeah.
I can remember when they did it about.
Yeah.
What time they did it. It was after they had the IWW.
Oh.
About that time.
WPA.
WPA.
In the 30s. That was in the early 30s, wasn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, now you say you had just a certain section along here that you worked?
Well, generally around close to home,
Mm-hmm.
then it, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the other boys and I, we just done that. We didn't get anything for it, no credit or nothing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We graded that road. We several days graded that road because we knew on run the grader and everything.
Mm-hmm. Somebody drove the horses and somebody ran the grader. Did it take two people or one person?
Yeah, well, 12 head horses. Then we had, or I mean, 8 head horses. We had 2 drivers then.
Oh.
Of course, lots of times I've heard of a man driving 32 head.
Yeah, but I don't know how they
out
did
in
it.
Oregon.
Yeah, right.
He used to put the pull on the combine. He said,
Mhm.
I drove 32 head of horses on that combine.
Uh-huh.
In Oregon. You ought to see have you ever seen Oregon?
Yes.
The hilly
Yes.
country?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful in the spring.
Oh, it is. That's when we were there, and it is beautiful.
Yeah, we saw it.
Mm-hmm. But how in the world did they manage that many horses?
I don't know.
Now they couldn't hold 32 lines.
No,
I think those horses are broke. For that purpose, probably.
Uh-huh.
Train.
You say the main thing was keeping the right speed. See, the wheels
Okay.
run the combine years ago when they put the horses on, you know.
Okay.
And you had to keep the right speed to keep the combine in the right,
Oh, keep it working right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was the hardest thing about driving.
And those hills, too.
Yes. Yes.
Probably on a trot.
Well, did you always break your own horses, or did you have somebody
Oh
else
yeah, we broke them.
broke them yourself? Mhm. What?
I broke Millie's dad team of mules. I'd work away on weekdays and drive them on Sunday.
Yeah. Well.
My uncle had a couple of horses I broke.
Yeah.
One of them was an outlaw. He was actually an outlaw.
Huh.
Got getting worse every day.
Is that right?
And finally swung around and broke the reach out of the wagon. We tied him to the barge, and he was just pawing and bucking. And we thought he made him run, lunge, and hit the car, right before he just knocked him cold right out there, you know. And I slid down off the stack out there. I thought he was dead. And he come to, and he batted his eyes, and I was standing there. I guess he must have thought I hit him probably. But he was broke animal from that day on.
Is that right?
Absolutely broke.
Okay. Well, you usually didn't. It wasn't that drastic. How did you usually break them?
Oh, just hitch him up to a wagon, start driving him.
Uh-huh.
Driving with some gentle horse. You know.
Okay, that's what I wondered. Mm-hmm. How long did it take? Well, it would vary depending on the horse, wouldn't it? How long it took to break them?
Oh, yeah, it depends on the horse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It'd be a long while before you could run 2 of them together.
Oh, 2 young ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it would.
Because Daddy always working 4 horses. Put them on each side of those 2 horses.
Right.
10 or 2.
Right.
And done that a long time.
Yeah. Well, they used to have different kinds of, well, I know what a lumber wagon is, but now a spring wagon, that was a...
Plus you had church in.
That's what I was going to say. That was the
No, that usually had 2 seats.
yes. And the back seat, now, I can't remember that. Well, were both seats in a spring wagon covered, or was the back seat back there?
Well, some of them had covered over, some of them didn't.
And then there was the little 2-wheeler buggy. What they call that? Just a buggy?
What did they call them?
There were carts, 2
Oh,
wheels.
yeah, carts. That's what Mama carried the mail in there.
Okay.
She used to, Mike Howland was just a kid, little baby, you know, little old brat. And Mama always made a lot of him over him. And he'd go with her to carry the mail. And he'd like to sit right down in front. He didn't like to sit up in the seat with Lucy. He'd like to sit down in the front. So Mama put him down in front.
And those were just 1 horse.
Yeah.
Those little carts.
Now the Pittmans used to live down here on the Dunham place, and they had one. And then we had a preacher one time, McQuarrie's, and they lived down there in the Dunham house, and they had one of those little carts and 1 horse. That's where he went back and forth to church. We didn't have a